Hey, welcome back. We have a knife here. This is in from HX Outdoors. This is the Vulcan and was sent to me by HX Outdoors to check out. So full disclosure, this is, although most of the time I buy my knives, this is not one that I bought for myself. Ooh, nice case. Wow, that's surprising. Very nice patch that comes with it. Everyone deserves an exceptional knife. I like that. And that is a very nice case for this price point. These sell for, right now they're on sale for only $39.99 US dollars. Wow. I gotta say, so far I'm impressed just by this overall fit, finish, and packaging here. You can check out this info if you want to follow them or get to know them. But let's take a look at the knife. So this is apparently a company, from what they told me, that's been in the family for a while. Now I do see an excess of oil on the knife, so we're gonna wipe some of that off. It's pivot oil probably. So not the most careful QA process. The knife did arrive fairly well centered. Pretty impressive. A little bit of a late lockup. A little bit of double clutch there. It kind of gets caught on there. Not really a thumb flicker. So it's really a knife that is designed to be used with the flipper tab. I really want to reverse flick this thing out of here, but it's got a very strong detent and a very small fuller hole. So it can be done. D2 blade steel. You can see the D2 there. It looks like it's a sort of like a 50% flat grind. Nice jimping on the top. Zero side-to-side blade play. Zero front-to-back blade play. Let's see what these handles are made out of. They feel very premium. This weighs, from the stats that I'm looking at, 3.8 ounces and an overall length of 7.6 when it's open. It says the HRC is 58 to 60 HRC on the D2. The action's not bad. It's nothing to write home about, but it feels good, crisp. A little like rubbery would be like a good way to put it, good way to describe it. Like not in a terrible way, but like in a little bit of like it doesn't clap hard. It just sort of kind of bounces when it hits. Not bounces, but it almost feels like it's sort of I'm trying to think of the right term for it. There we go. Now we're starting to get the action opened up a little bit here. I like the anodized pivot collars. Overall, for $39.99, I can't think of a knife with this kind of quality. So let me see if I can figure out some of the materials that they used here on the scales and stuff. Handle, do I have a handle material here? Silver titanium handle. It's impressive. So you got a steel on the pocket clip, but titanium on the handle. Steel on the hardware. And you've got a liner lock, a nice little kind of inset liner lock there. The detent does hang a little bit. So like the problem with having this be a flipper tab is it's hard to press that down and get this far enough to get past the detent ball. But it can be done there, as you can see. You just got to get it past a certain point and it'll drop. But if you don't get it past a certain point, it kind of hangs there and sort of double clutches. Is it straight? It's like slightly off center to the show scale, just slightly. Not bad enough that I'd be like overly concerned about it for the price point. Let's see how this pocket clip does on the pocket. I don't have like a perfect pants on for trying this out, frankly, but yeah, it worked well. Surprisingly good, actually. So let's get into some of the details. What I'm seeing here is a nicely finished handle that's not just flat slabs of titanium. Like, you got a nice concave on here, a nice swedge, nice jimping, like nothing's sharp. To my surprise, nothing is sharp for the price point, you know. You've got a nice little, look at the little chamfer in here for the flipper tab. That's pretty impressive. Nice little standoffs. You know they're steel, but that's fine for this price point. Let's just confirm the stats just so you can see it on screen, and then I'll compare it to some other knives that you might consider. So you got 3 1/3 inch there on the blade and about 7 1/4 overall length there. Just double check the weight. Just says 3.8 on the website, but let's see what we come up with here. 3.8, if not a slight bit lighter, so that's good. In line with what we'd expect. What's the size, you're wondering? Slightly longer than a CJRB Pyrite. To me, this is like one of the most comparable knives. And the overall, the CJRB Pyrite, I'd say, is a better knife. But this one definitely has some things that are nicer. Like the jimping feels a little nicer. The handle scales with the titanium feels nicer. So although these are in a similar price point, the CJRB is like a little more expensive. You got a button lock versus, a liner lock. I prefer a liner lock in general. I think if this was a thumb stud, this would work better. I don't know why they went for this sort of small hole here. It's not super functional. So I'm thinking you take this back to here, you make this hole proper sized so that it can actually be used. There we go. Now it's starting to loosen up a little. I'm starting to be able to use that a bit more. So you can use the thumb hole. And then I was struggling quite a bit, still a little bit there. It's just very small, so you're kind of, making the most of it. You can't really use the meat of your finger. You got to kind of stick your fingernail in there to try and get it out. But, it's working. Yeah, it's for $39.99. It's a lot of knife. Not a lot out there that's like that for that price point that I can think of. Pretty much anything that I've seen like this has been double the price, at least 70, 80 bucks. And if you go American made or something, it's not even in the vicinity, but the overall design leaves a few things to be desired, but it's generally pretty darn good. And no lock stick or anything. So like they've got some things really right on this and really dialed, particularly the finish around the edges and stuff. Everything just feels good in hand. So yeah, not too often I bring one on the channel that's, an import, a knife made in China. But I hadn't heard of HX Outdoors, and they got a website. It's hxoutdoors.com. Feel free to go check it out if you want. I'll link it in the description. And from what he told me, the company's been in his family for a long time. I think he's a 3rd generation smith. And, he said it started years back, and it was a pretty cool story. So I don't have it right in front of me, but, maybe I'll put this thing in the pocket and put it to the test a little bit here. And see what I think. Let me see if I can find his message and just get you any last details if you're still interested here. So, yeah, okay. The story on the website says the company started in the 50s and I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly, but Yangjiang, China, a humble workshop known as Knife Cooperative quietly began shaping the future of blade making. Here, a young blacksmith named Zhang, father of HX Outdoors founder, started his journey transforming raw steel into practical knives under the glow of oil lamps. I love that. During China's post-war recovery, these tools became indispensable for local farmers and fishermen. Zhang's hands, hardened by years at the anvil, mastered the balance of strength and precision, laying the foundation for relentless pursuit of excellence. There are a few more stories here about how they've kind of gone throughout the ages to how they are now, but I think that's a pretty cool background. If that's all, true and accurate, that's a pretty neat story. They have other stuff on this website. They have various different knives, hatchets, multi-tools, folding, pliers, batons. It looks like they have quite a bit on there. Some of their stuff is Damascus for very low price, Damascus knives for $50 and stuff. That's pretty neat. So there are kitchen knives on here for a crazy price, $40 to $66 for like a Damascus version. You know, full-size chef's knife, 7.87 inches and 9 CR14 Damascus. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff here. A little different than my usual content on the channel, but hope you enjoyed it. And if so, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Just unfold this really quickly and throw it out here for y'all. So yeah, feel free to check any of these. Again, pretty impressed overall, particularly with the packaging and stuff that they delivered this in. You know, for $39.99, it's a pretty crazy price point for what you get. I'd definitely say that this is a knife that someone could get out and use. You know, D2 blade steel is nothing to turn your nose up to. Let me see if I can just put this to a quick, wow. That's actually one of the sharpest knives that I've ever received. That is insanely sharp. Look at these little tiny curls I can get off. That's really well sharpened. I did not notice at first how well sharpened that is. That's impressive. So there you go. You'll get a very sharp knife and premium materials for a very low price. How about that? Cannot be too mad about that. It's not for everyone. A lot of people you know, that watch this channel may not be looking for a knife like this, but many are. So hope that helps. I will see you on the next one, and take care.